Well, okay. And again, I don't want to derail this. But Tali, I like that you think that it should be international effort to make a Palestinian state. I would agree to. I mean, Israel has a small GDP. I wouldn't put it all in their hands. Well, the Egyptian recovery plan that I was talking about previously talks about, hey,
Yeah, dude. All Israel creates is EDM, psychedelic music. Okay, have you guys seen Infected Mushroom? All right, that's some psychedelic music. Okay,
international
that's
community
tough.
coming together, investing in rebuilding Gaza. I think that's a fine
That's
The
first step.
Israel.
international
Go ahead.
international community is currently actively invested in Palestine, in Palestinian aid. So that wouldn't be a very hard lift. I
That's
think what we
good.
need
Hello,
is
Tarsal.
is leadership,
To get them to
Palestinian
stop funding the
leadership.
bombing first.
Correct.
Yes.
That's not corrupt. Not just right. Not well. Not just funding bombing, but also lining their pockets. Right. I mean, living like kings in other countries while their
Yeah,
people are suffering on the ground. So
yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I think that the those other Arab states they have their own interests, and there's
Well, their own interests. That's a very kind way of putting. They don't give a fuck about Palestinians. Okay, they literally do not give a single flying fuck about Palestinians whatsoever. Okay, otherwise, I'm just saying the issue would have been solved. Okay, if any kind of see, this is another issue that I have. Okay, everybody blames Israel, but nobody ever blames the surrounding Arabic states for not accepting immigrants. Okay, like Palestinian immigrants, re-educating them, integrating them into the workforce, boosting their GDP, boosting their economy, becoming a superpower off the back of Palestinian migrants. Nobody ever talks about that. All right, because they're racist, homophobic, xenophobic. All right, fucking racist as fuck, okay? And in addition, Palestinians themselves are radicalized, crazy people, all right, who are mostly peaceful, but still kind of crazy. They have Hamas around them, okay? So, you know, it's kind of crazy, right? Because it's like, fuck. Yeah. Anyway.
it's all rife with corruption once money is flowing. But I think the first step would be, hey, understanding there is a need, allowing the money to come in, allowing work to be done, and then that could be a model for further investments in that direction.
Nice. Oh,
yeah,
Lurker,
sure.
nice
That just
cam.
can't
Thank you
happen
so
until
much.
Hamas is
I
gone. But yeah,
appreciate that.
absolutely. I totally support that effort. Absolutely.
Okay.
The problem is they don't do that when they did do that in Jordan. They tried to coup the government. Haha. I didn't even know about that, but I have heard about it, right? Like I have heard about, attempts to actually integrate the Palestinians into the government or into the population, and then it just fails. It just doesn't work out, okay? Like fuck. Yeah, you're asking like one of the most radicalized like Muslims in the Middle East who are hell-bent on destroying Israel to integrate into the rest of the Islamic world. Like good luck with that, dude.
Thanks.
It won't be safe to do. Like again,
Yeah, no
it just
shit.
here's I guess the point that I'm trying to make, and that I feel like is the frustration that Lonerbox and I share. That just won't happen. Like if you leave Hamas in control, then the international aid is not going to be able to come
I
in
keep
and
saying not in
overpower
control
them.
though,
And
but I keep saying not in control. You keep saying in
okay,
control.
if
We have
they
a fundamental
maintain their
disagreement.
arms.
But
Yeah, it's
Tali,
not Hamas. It's maintained their arms. Notice.
yeah,
But Foodshops, don't you understand? Okay, this wouldn't have happened in the first place if Israel didn't keep Palestinians in in an apartheid state.
Prime.
yeah, Tali. Like, and I'm not trying to
That
be
is
like
sorry, Katie,
obtuse.
you missed the debate. Prime is specifically talking about a proposal that would allow the Qasem brigades, Hamas, to maintain their arms in Gaza as part of a ceasefire plan where then international aid comes in and international peacekeeping comes in to rebuild Gaza. That's the specific option on the table. I'm not being pedantic.
Open air prison food
I'm
shops.
sorry.
example.
Just a quick question. Would the IDF be allowed to maintain their arms during this ceasefire?
Yes. What do you mean maintain?
Okay, then
Yes,
I
of
don't have
course.
a
Yes,
problem with
the
that.
IDF. Okay.
So
Then you don't really
I'm a right-leaning liberal, essentially. Then you're just a liberal.
want like the conditions to change because
Tali,
they won't change.
Tali, I'm not trying to be obtuse. I swear I'm not trying to do that. Right? I'm just pointing, just like my friend Doobie.
If you're not obtuse, are you acute? Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm off the rocker tonight. Okay.
Previously pointed to how like the IRA at first did completely demilitarize the moment they made a peace deal, right?
I'm
It was
sorry.
a multi-phase process. That is the realistic goal. Is that you say, hey, like for instance, the ceasefire that was just implemented, right? In that ceasefire, hold on, in that
Wait,
ceasefire,
why don't we allow the
I almost unstuck with that joke. Don't worry, okay? You'll just be, within the fucking growing and dropping line of my subscriber count, okay? In a way, I've always been interested to speak to nuanced conservatives. Growing up in Texas, I have been blessed with a diverse group of viewpoints. Well, like, whether or not to get Whataburger for Wednesday dinner. Is that the debate in Texas? I'm kidding. All right. This is the wrong conversation. The U.S. needs to give the United States back to the Pawnee and fund their state. Their state would honor. Honestly, dude, ask any extremist lefty, they would probably agree with you. They would probably say like, yeah, you know what? We need to give the U.S. states back to the American Indian tribes. And then just imagine like if you were to like give back the states, and then the American Indian tribes is like, dude, we don't even have enough people to operate all of this shit.
Palestinian Authority to put in police forces, and so
Yeah.
that it is Palestinian
1 second, hold
control.
on.
They're able
It's a way
to
of life, I'm sure.
maintain
Hold on. Hold on.
arms
1
of some
second.
sort.
I would love that. Hold on. But
Yeah.
that first of all, the Egypt plan does talk about putting the Palestinian
Do that with
Authority in
Hamas there.
charge.
I mean,
The Egypt plan does talk about putting the Palestinian Authority in charge. But beyond that, right?
can't do that
Look,
with
the
Hamas there.
ceasefire. 1 second. The ceasefire that was previously announced, right? That Israel unilaterally broke. That didn't have Hamas immediately put down their weapons because, of course, that wasn't going to happen, right? It was a multi-phase process in which both sides would have to accomplish certain concrete goals and then take a step forward.
Yeah,
If
that
you
ceasefire
continue
wasn't
doing
a peace
that,
plan.
yes.
The ceasefire wasn't a peace plan. It's an attempt.
Oh,
No, these
I've been-
are attempts to barter back for hostages.
Hold on, but I'm
I mean,
talking,
they're
and in the
not.
Gaza recovery plan isn't a peace plan either. It's a ceasefire, right? It's a ceasefire that goes into rebuilding.
That's not a ceasefire. That's an
I'm sorry.
indefinite.
I'm a little confused. What do you? Could you explain, please?
Okay, sure. Well, we need a resolution to this war.
When
Sure.
is Primetime not confused?
Okay.
So the
I-
Gaza. Sorry. The Egypt plan does call for a resolution, right? Like a resolution to the immediate conflict, not like the overall resolution to the
The conflict doesn't
Israeli-Palestine
end.
problem.
The conflict doesn't end if the Qassam brigades are armed on the southern border of Israel.
Sure. Well,
The conflict doesn't end.
I mean, the conflict existed before Hamas existed. I'm pretty sure the conflict will exist without Hamas. So
yeah. Like like you're saying that there is
war right now in Gaza won't be happening.
You're saying that there's a
The
bad.
number of Palestinians in Gaza wouldn't be happening without
I'll,
Hamas
I'll,
right now.
I'll let Katie handle it. So I'll just leave.
Yeah, let Katie go.
I'm enjoying this, Prime. Go ahead. This is fun.
I'm sorry. Again, Tali.
Bro, she is a psycho on God for real, okay? All right, listen, none of you guys can fix her. Reservoir tried, okay, and he has failed, okay?
So I didn't mean to take anything over. If because I don't know.
Listen, if there's anybody who can fix Katie, the highest hopes is Reservoir, an effeminate fat man, okay? All right, there's nobody who can fix a girl more than an effeminate fat man. And, you know, if he failed, then everybody will fail, all right?
How to pronounce it? Sorry, the Qassam brigades. Those brigades. I apologize. If they do a thing that breaks the peace, right? Then it'll be the Palestinians that suffer. It'll be them that will have reprisals. And they will have a force again because it would have international forces, like UN security forces. They'll have to contend with these individuals and these organizations. There will be a cost one way or the other. It could also be the case that, let's say we go with this Egypt plan. It could also be the case that once again Israel unilaterally breaks the agreement, right? It could also be that could be a thing that happens, right? But we understand this. But we go into these things extending a tiny level of good faith to begin the process. When people show that they aren't.
Bro, but then, like, every single time you make a deal with, like, Palestinians, it's always, like, some fucking, I don't, dude, it's just, fuck, I'm trying to come up with this, fuck, I mean, there's a reason why, like, peace shit doesn't work out all that often, right? Like, it's just constant fuck-ups on both sides, but...
No good
capable.
faith with Hamas.
Okay,
Well,
if you keep saying that, like,
here-
then there is no resolution ever, period. Because like Hamas is made up of these individuals who have who are now militarily aggressive against Israel.
Dude, my mom could probably hold more honest deals than the Palestinians, okay? If I get my mom to do the talking for Palestinians, I bet I can get them to concede, okay?
After all of this, October 7th, right?
You don't understand that, Kat. You have to play the piano. You have to play the piano, or you have to go to art class, okay? Don't you understand? You gotta get the good grades and get a 35 on the ACT.
It's refilled its ranks with all these members who have a grudge. If there's no chance for peace, right?
Kat, you have to go to outside. You have to touch the grass.
Then that means that the only option is slaughter. I don't believe that. I don't believe that all Israelis, the Jews have to die in Israel, and I don't believe all Muslims have to die in Palestine. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I want to let
Right.
Levin.
What
I don't think the
happens
Christians
then?
should die either.
Oh, you
In
Levin.
this
I'm so
Egyptian
sorry.
plan,
Lonerbox. I want to let Lonerbox go ahead. So in this Egyptian plan, in your world, the Qassam brigades retain their arms, but they give up civil control.
Where'd you get an ACT? 31.
And then the other armed forces that come in are what? Like the Americans, maybe the UN, peacekeepers, maybe some Arab forces. So what are the, okay, is that your, am I following you so far?
But sure, whatever the
They wanted to go into arsenal. They wanted me to go into computer science, which I did. And then I worked in an industry.
exact elements. I'm not like
for a little bit.
stuck on which like the exact militaries that have to be involved. It could be any particular mix.
Could it be like
But
Saudi,
yeah, I think that's a
Egyptian,
workable plan. But
UN? Okay.
yeah, whatever the mix might
Alright.
might happen to be. I don't know.
Governmental
Okay.
control, but keep their arms? What?
This is what
Yeah.
Dishonor your family? Already done, okay? When I changed my name because I'm transgender, my dad disowned me, okay? So, been there, done that, all right?
Prime and Doobie were advocating for during the debate, yeah.
Okay, keep going. This is fun.
Westerners, eh? Am I right? Anyway, so, okay, in this world then, Hamas goes into the tunnels, finds some spare rocket launchers or mortars and fires them. Who stops them?
The same people who would stop the IDF from firing into.
Look, my entire life is a set chain of events to lead me eventually to become a content creator of an extremely, extremely niche space, okay? To become the micro celebrity of one of the most niche spaces on the internet, okay?
Or killing Palestinians within
Everything was
territory, right?
preordained.
Like it would have to be an international response.
So international response
to
from
that.
either like Arab armies or the UN, right?
Sure.
Okay, so are we willing to concede that the UN had a mandate to do this in Lebanon and they completely fucking failed at it?
You played Fallout New Vegas, didn't you? No. I played RuneScape 2008 though. 2007 RuneScape. Yeah.
It was the
And
Lebanese
then
army
They
stop
did
Israel
not-
or Hezbollah?
to stop Hezbollah from. This is when the UN, when UNIFIL were in there from 2006 onwards up until 2023, and their role was to stop Hezbollah from rearming.
Yeah, no, I'm not a console person. I did play ArmorGames.com and AddictingGames.com, okay? I play Sinjid. I play Tower Defenses. I play Kingdom Rush.
South of the Litani, and they
I play Sunny and Sunny 2.
didn't do it.
Was that the...
I play Steambirds.
Can you source me that? I'd be really interested.
Well, the UNIFIL's job was to
Peace.
I love Flash games.
yeah,
What else would
Okay,
it
so
not be?
for you... Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, keep going.
because of Resolution 1701, which was that Hezbollah doesn't maintain arms south of the Litani. No.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. So
Age of a War, 100%.
So I guess it would probably most likely be like Egyptian or Saudi
100%.
troops that would fight back against Hamas if they were trying to break the ceasefire in this situation. You okay with that, Prime?
Your RuneScape DJ?
Yeah.
I'm in the right place. Yeah, I just remember back then just playing RuneScape, and then I gave like a person at the daycare my account, and then this guy just literally just fucking stole my account, changed the password, and then every single time I logged in, I was wearing like a fucking chef apron with holding a staff, and I'm like, this is literally the gayest look I've ever seen. And then the next time I logged in, I didn't log in because he changed my password. Okay, fucking hell. And that's how I lost my original account.
Right. Why would that be different from the IDF doing it?
Why would it be different from a government that is dedicated to the genocidal eradication of the Palestinians? Why would it
How
be
is-
different from
how
the
is
government
that-
why would it be different from the government that's currently doing ethnic cleansing? I don't know. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, no, actually, why would the Saudis be better with their bombs than the IDF? Have you seen what the Saudis did in Yemen?
Oh, well, my understanding is
RuneScape
the Saudis, if they're going to be part of this, like the Saudis aren't necessarily an enemy of the Palestinians. Like they were the enemy of the Yemenis.
Well, they were an enemy, became an enemy of the Houthis because the Houthis
and
were
if-
firing at them.
and-
But
and
yeah,
if
like again, they were
coalition
intervening in Yemen
forces-
because
And if coalition forces are acting improperly, well, they should be removed as well, right? That's why we have an international
wait.
community
Lonerbox,
keeping everyone
like
in check.
who?
Wait. Let's try this in good faith. Lonerbox, I think you understand what Prime is saying, right? He's saying that whoever is doing the peacekeeping in the region, it doesn't have a direct hand in the conflict and is only there. It's not going to act in retribution, right? The problem is Americans are not going to stop the idea from doing anything. And I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that you don't necessarily trust the Saudis to
Both of these women need to get birth
properly manage Hamas tunnels.
What was that? Was that from the stream?
Saying that whoever is doing the peacekeeping in the region, it doesn't have a direct hand in the conflict and is only there. It's not going to act in retribution, right? The problem is Americans are not going to stop the IDF from doing anything. And I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that you don't necessarily trust the Saudis to
Both of these women need to get birth
properly
control.
manage Hamas tunnels. Am I wrong?
I guess it was with TV. The fuck, dude? Creepy old man. What the fuck,
I'm just saying,
dude?
and maybe I know that I understand why you or Prime might never get this, but if the Saudis were in Gaza maintaining law and order and they come against radical Islamists who oppose their endeavors, the Saudis would be a million times more brutal than Israel would. Yeah.
It's
That was weird.
Saudis are not.
For bringing in peacekeeping UN. The UN
I don't
has
know what
never
to say.
kept anything that had
Like, what possible commentary can I
military
give?
stuff within it.
If the UN, if the Saudis are not appropriate partners for this, then
I have
don't
no
pick the Saudis. Like I
words.
said, I'm not married to any particular force, right? Like, so you're saying,
Oh,
well, the
hell no.
Saudis might be
I don't need birth
belligerent, might be
control, yeah,
aggressive
I guess
against
so.
Palestinians. Okay, I can accept that. Whatever. Like we, when we're putting together these forces, obviously we take that for
Right.
granted. You can always point
That was
to,
very
like, and this
strange.
is not like a new thing. We've done this before in the past, right? Like, so we can,
My wife
unless
and
you
I
think, let me
pregnant
ask you, right?
based.
Do you think that there is never a possibility, like,
Wait,
let's move away
gay,
from Israel Palestine
gay,
for a
gay,
second,
gay,
that there's
gay,
never a
gay.
possibility in any conflict for a peacekeeping force to be useful? Is that your position?
No, peacekeeping forces can be useful. The problem is
Okay.
that they have the same challenge that the IDF has, and they're going to
No,
treat
they
it
don't.
either more incompetently or they're going to treat it more aggressively. Like it's the problem is that the only people who actually have an incentive to destroy that Hamas infrastructure and risk their soldiers' lives for it is the IDF. No one else is going to want to do this. So when you're saying when Hamas is armed, all of these plans, like these rebuilding plans and everything else, they only work with Hamas's military.
I didn't say that you
out of the way.
necessarily destroyed Hamas infrastructure unless they are using it to break the agreement. So I wouldn't be asking them that anyway, unless aggressive actions were taken. Then there might be a response. But no, beyond that, yeah, like I think there's a reason why we have third parties here, right? Of course, they're going to operate differently than like the two belligerent actors, right? Like there is racism and hatred and bigotry on both sides of this conflict, right? And that expresses itself through its military, expresses itself through its policies. That's why you have third.
Lonerbox is saying the third party won't actually be able to act very differently because they're going to run into the same problem. So even if you pick the
Winter can bring peace to the Middle East by what? Ethnically cleansing all Albanians?
dumbest nation, the people who are
Canadians.
philo-Palestinian,
Bunch
people
of
who love
Canadians.
Palestinians, they're going to they're going to run into the same problems. Even if they would want to handle it differently than the IDF, they're going to run into the same problems with Hamas.
This assumes that
I
the
don't think they're going to
IDF.
destroy entire cities full of civilians, but yes, with
Yeah,
the tunnels,
exactly.
Okay,
So-
yes, you just highlighted the problem though. This is the problem that you would have really is that you would have like a more dovish peace force or maybe like an Arab state that doesn't want to be seen killing a bunch of Palestinians. So what you'd see is you'd see Hamas breaking the ceasefire and Hamas like trying to frustrate this normalization process.
Or you
because,
see
again,
Oh yeah, do you guys remember when Jesse Lee Peterson was exposed as like a gay lord or something? I think like people said that there were like rumors of him and his producer like like kissing, like getting into hot like kissing sections in the hallway. Dude,
Israel
with
breaking the
fucking dude.
ceasefire,
hang on,
right?
because
Like,
wait,
or you
wait,
see
wait,
Israel
let's leave
breaking the
that-
ceasefire.
Let
leave
Loner
that
finish
aside,
his
okay?
They
thought, please.
actually broke the
We
ceasefire.
can get to that, okay? Hamas broke a ceasefire.
Oh, you don't
want
want to get to that.
Okay.
We can
Several,
get to
yeah.
that. I said, I'm just telling you right
Yes,
now, okay? And I can
yes.
explain why but
You
Israel
guys
did it
are
in this case.
stop. You guys are putting in the G. Okay, it's amazing. Okay, not amazing.
Situation
right?
is like not helpful at all for testing your scenario. With your scenario, you've got Hamas still have their arms, okay? And then there's another
Yeah,
force
that's
that's trying to
better.
rebuild to actually build Gaza in an image that's not the same way that Hamas built it. And it's not in a way that the Israeli occupation built it because it's preparing it for statehood so that Gaza can exist as part of a Palestinian state alongside Israel. Like that would be the point of doing that. The problem is that if Hamas who has every incentive to frustrate that process, because that's the opposite of what they want, they will fire, they will try to break that, they will try to frustrate that process. And what would happen is Hamas would be in the tunnels, okay? Because that's where they are. And some other army that's more dovish would look at that and think, okay, fuck, there's no way we can get to this tunnel. We're not sending our soldiers in to fucking booby traps and tunnel warfare. We can't bomb it because there's like civilians in the area, so we're just not going to do anything. That's what would happen, yeah.
So you just keep stating that. Both you and Tali. I'm going to say one last thing, and I'll be done. You and Tali simply keep stating this as facts, right? Oh, I can look into the future, and of course the peace process wouldn't work, right? The peace process that have been
You
repeated.
guys are just naive.
No, hold on. No, okay? So you can keep stating that, right? And say like, oh, I have a better view of all of this, right? Even though in the past we've actually accomplished this, like we've actually gone through peace process. This isn't a new process.
Yeah, but you keep using examples like South Africa and
this
Ireland,
isn't a new process.
Ireland, which have like so the fact that you tried
This
to refer to
isn't
South
a
Africa in
new-
the past, the fact that you tried to
This
refer
isn't
to
a
South
new
Africa as your analogy,
process.
just like
This isn't a new
again,
process. Once again, it's not a new process. And then you simply state. Well, this is what Hamas would do. We know exactly what Hamas actions would take, right? What the international community would take, right? You just keep stating this and hoping to make it reality within the confines of this conversation. I reject it. I refuse it. I say the opposite. I say if anyone's going to break this, it's going to be the Israelis, right? They have shown again and again that they're untrustworthy force. So why should we trust them?
Wait, and not like Hamas? And not like Hamas? What? What do you mean? Like the people who literally misreported the hospital bombing deaths on purpose? Are we talking about the same people that you want to invite to negotiate with the international community? I'm not going to deny that some kind of derivative of Hamas is probably going to be included in some peace deal, like, far in the future. But, like, if you're talking about the same fucking people who have misreported the hospital deaths, like, fuck. Right?
Still, even with that in mind, I still want to give the process a try. Even though I know the Israelis are not trustworthy, we should still give the process a try.
What was Hamas trying to do on October 7th?
Interrupt the Abrams Accords, right? Like,
Okay.
they felt...
Oh, hell nah. What the fuck? Yo! What? What? Oh my god. What do you mean? Yeah, you're right, okay? These Hamas people on October 7th, they just want to come in and walk to the Israeli government building and say, Netanyahu, bring down that wall. Netanyahu, bring down that wall. Alright, we just want to interrupt the Abrams Accords, okay? Forget about the rape. We never wanted to rape. We were raping in self-defense, okay? You don't understand, okay? Hamas was raping in self-defense, okay? That's what's actually happening, alright?
That the Arabic world was abandoning them,
bring
right?
down that
Ignoring
wall.
the Palestinian question.
Mods, twist his balls.
One of the things I wanted to do was to interrupt that.
And it's another serious thing that you're missing out, that your plan would entail, your Egyptian plan would entail, and it's normalization with Israel. There'll be a process of normalization, which is the worst thing for Hamas. I'm not saying Hamas would do this because I'm just guessing, okay? I'm doing it because normalization is Hamas's biggest fucking enemy. They've been a rejectionist party from the cradle to the grave, okay?
It's like... Oh, that's kind of a bar.
I'm not basing this on nothing.
So the Israelis say the same thing.
Okay, hold on, no. Prime. Give it to Katie. Go ahead, Katie.
Oh, fuck. I just want to keep on going, but I don't want to keep people waiting in the wait room forever. Okay, let's put a marker right here, okay? We'll come back because I like this debate, somewhat. Yo, what's up?
Oh shit, what's up? Yo, what's up? Yeah, I was just debating someone about how you could start a civil war. Just thinking with my husband on how you could start a civil war. Do you think?
Why do you want to be dragged in? Like,
oh, I wanted to debate you.
on what?
Let's say how to start a civil war, because that's what we're talking about.
Okay, stop. No, I don't care about meme debates. Okay, all right.
No, it's not a meme debate. It's not a meme debate.
Dude,
it's not a meme debate.
Why would I debate you on that? Why would I debate? This is not worth my time. Okay, like debating. Oh,
okay, fine.
Well,
okay.
wow, guys, let's theorize about like how to start a civil war. Oh my god.
No, but it's like, okay. Do you think civil war is a possible?
Okay, next person. Hello, hi, what's up?
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, what's up?
Nothing. I was just sitting in there playing a video game. What's up?
Okay, you're in the weight room. What's up?
Sorry, Shops. I didn't mean to. I wasn't actually sitting.
Okay, cool. Moving on.
Lonerbox, so are you going to do this thing where I say, but Hamas has released a statement that they said that if that it was put to a vote with Palestinian people and the Palestinian people chose a two-state solution, they would support it. You're just simply going to say that you don't believe them, correct?
Well, that would be them changing their messaging from the last like 15, 20 years.
Okay, but they have released that statement.
Why are people in the weight room? I don't know, because I assumed that they want to be dragged in, but apparently they're just in there playing video games. Like, what the fuck?
So do you believe it or not?
No.
They've said that if their population goes
not.
to a vote, they'll accept a two-state solution. Who said
Do
this?
you believe that statement or not?
I don't. It depends on who said it. Who said it? If it's like a random fucking.
Yeah, Tali, you wanted to say something?
No, it's just like they didn't say that.
Okay.
That
If
doesn't
they
exist.
said it,
Okay. So
Yeah,
Lonerbox, you've been
here's my answer. So if Hamas actually came with if Hamas just went into this like unprecedented level of soul searching and resurrection and came out as a party that was willing to accept a normalization with Israel into a two-state solution, actually with mutual recognition, and a leader came and said that, and he didn't get fucking shot by his comrades like 2 days later, then yeah, I'd maybe be more inclined to think, okay, maybe something's changed here. The problem is that all of these changes that you see from Hamas, it's all.
Yeah, like, okay, so this is the problem with what they're saying, okay? What they're saying is, okay, let's let Hamas in directly after they have committed one of the worst fucking things in history, okay? That is the problem, all right? If there are signs of improvement and there are signs of actual, like, organization and benefiting the civilians above their own interests from Hamas, then yeah, I 100% agree that, yeah, they should be given a chance. But the thing is that if they're unable to demonstrate in public that they are willing to improve as like an organization that is ready to be more receptive towards international towards the international community, why the fuck? Well, like why the fuck should they ever be taken seriously by the international community ever, right? Like that's really the beginning and ending of it. But, you know, technically any kind of organization can eventually be taken seriously, but they also have to take everybody else seriously.
Always like equivocating. It's always like meandering, like with the 2017 charter, or with people saying, "Oh yeah, we'll give up civilian control, but not our arms," right? Yeah, or like maybe one low-level official goes into like some like very like small news broadcaster and says, "Oh yeah, we'll kind of consider like we might be up for a two-states solution," and then like another leader just rebukes it the day after. This is not the same as like a radical shift, but what you're saying is their entire worldview since their inception would be changing if this is the case.
So
I mean, I agree with you, except that Israel does the same thing. Israel had multiple governments and multiple MKs and multiple prime ministers.
Dude, this is not even a debate, by the way, okay? Like, Israel 100% is so much more receptive to the international community. They let the UN Council to come in and investigate the October 7th rapes without any kind of blocking, okay? Pretty sure the UN representative for that investigation literally said, hey, yeah, I was unimpeded. Okay, I was unimpeded by the Israeli authorities or some shit. So it's like it's not even comparison. Would Hamas ever do that? Ever? Hell no. What the fuck?
Ministers make different statements about whether they support a two-state solution or not. I know you don't like when I equivocate the Israeli government to Hamas, but in terms of contradicting statements, it's not like, you know, everyone does that. It's
but what's the okay? That's the difference. What's the solution with the Israeli government? Is you vote them out. The solution for Hamas is you can't vote them out. No one can vote them out. They have to be removed. Like that's the difference.
Yep.
Okay.
I do have a question for you, Lonerbox, actually, because you said something a little bit ago that I want to come back to about how if there was a third party, more dovish peacekeeping force, right, they're in the area, that they wouldn't be able to stop Hamas from doing it. So I guess that implies, at least to me, and you can clarify, that the level of brutality necessary to stop Hamas needs to be something like what IDF is doing. Is that what you're saying?
Not exactly what the IDF is doing, but I think the problem that people run into is that in order to target anything that Hamas like uses or infrastructure or personnel, yeah, it involves a level of collateral that most, I think, Western countries and democracies and all that would just be very uncomfortable with. Like they wouldn't want to do it because this happened in Mosul as well, right? And ISIS were a lot smaller and a lot less dug in than Hamas are. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
I don't think things would look. I think if Israel was acting within international law completely in all of their airstrikes and campaigns, I don't think it would be like it would be different from what we're seeing now. But I don't think it would be like world-changingly different. No.
Okay.
Like, sorry, I just have to keep going back to this point because you guys keep ignoring this and like moving past it very quickly. So, and Tali is away.
Lonerbox, I sent you a link for the statement.
So I'll direct this at you, Lonerbox, and hopefully Tali can answer this later on, right? So there, she's back. So there was a peace agreement between, a ceasefire. Sorry, excuse me, ceasefire.
Okay, wait. I'm so sorry. I'm just looking at the first paragraph of this article. The Palestinian militant group Hamas has said for more than 15 years that it could accept a two-state compromise with Israel, at least a temporary one. But Hamas has also refused to say that it would recognize Israel or renounce its armed fight against it. Does it change here? Do they say that they're like reneging?
Now
on this?
read the second paragraph.
Okay. For Israel and many others, especially in the wake of Hamas' October 7th attack that spurred the latest war in Gaza, that's proof that Hamas is still irrevocably bent on destroying Israel. United States and European countries have joined Israel in shunning the militant group they've labeled a terrorist organization. Is there more? I'll just read the whole thing. Hang on.
Can I get a link to this document,
Yeah.
please?
She is so freaking serial about this. Okay, all right.
I don't know what we're reading. I don't know what we're looking at. So
Sorry, I got a call from my wife. She's the final boss.
Oh, shout out to her.
everything okay?
Oh yeah, we're good.
Continue. Fair enough.
They're not getting a divorce, okay? All right, like but Tali, so while we're waiting on Lonerbox, he's reading. So we had a ceasefire.
No, I'll read it out for you.
Okay, all right.
I sent it to Lonerbox, so I know he'll find it. I even screenshotted it. In the latest iteration of its stance, senior Hamas official Khalil El-Hayya told the Associated Press in an interview on Wednesday the group would lay down its weapons and convert into a political party if an independent Palestinian state is established in the West Bank and Gaza Strip along the pre-1967 borders. This article is from April 25th, 2024.
And why do you think I'm going to say that this is not what you earlier said it was?
What do you mean? Is this senior enough official for you?
Yeah. What do you think I'm going to say is wrong? What do you think I'm going to say is wrong with this?
No, there's nothing wrong with it. So you should stop making the arguments
Wait,
about
what do you
trying
think I'm
to.
going to... Sorry, wait.
Hey, you asked me a question, so I'll answer
Yeah.
it. My answer is, if you're going to make arguments that Hamas is going to agitate if there's a solution for two states, and you have a senior official saying that they are willing to go with a two-state solution if that's the one that they're going for, then you're lying.
No, not at all. I just want to know if you've been listening to a fucking word I've been saying. When I spoke about the 2017 charter and the problem with Hamas whenever they say two states is what? This is not the first time they've said we'll do two states. What's the issue with that?
So the issue with that is that they sometimes say one thing.
The issue with that is that their actions don't actually reflect their words. While Hamas will say that they will like be peaceful if Israel like does several things, their actions definitely do not respect the fact that, you know, does not reflect that, right? You have October 7th, you have the misreporting, you have the keeping of the hostages, you have the prevention of further Palestinian elections, right? Preventing peaceful transfer of power, killing politicians, killing Palestinian protesters, getting weapons and firearms from Iran, right? Like these are actions that are completely contradictory to the peace process. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether or not a senior Hamas official says, yeah, we're going to be peaceful as long as they're not trustworthy people. Okay, they're not trustworthy. All right, they have to go or improve, but I don't think improving will ever be the case. Okay, they are diabolical, evil, heinous backstabbers. Okay, all right, of the worst kind. They shall be smitten from God. All right, from the Judea God from above. Okay,
And then say another thing?
Nope.
Okay, then tell me.
So as per the 2017 statement, when they say two states, they mean two states for now, so we can use that state as an opportunity to try again later. What happens if Hamas gets a two states out of this? They claim victory within their own people. They become the most popular, or they remain, actually, with even more popularity, the most popular faction.
Okay. So he said a different reason, but whatever. I still stand by what I said. Okay, like what I said still makes perfect sense. Like, why the fuck should you trust an organization that lies constantly about like shit, right? Like, fuck. At least if the United States pressure Israel enough, like Israel will back off. Okay, Israel will back off in some historical situations, when Americans like put enough boot on Israel. Okay, like it has happened before. Just not recently. Okay, just fuck.
Action in the region. What does the state
Trump
have?
is a
The state has
weak
arms.
leader,
Hamas
weak.
they have arms in a state in this situation. This is not them. The problem with saying two states is not just two states. It's two states for now. There's the difference is, and this is what Arafat recognized, the reason that Arafat, who also spoke about two states for quite a while before in 1988, the thing that changed it was that he offered recognition of Israel. That's not there in Hamas because it's two states for now. Like I've always said, there's nothing here that contradicts anything I think about Hamas's position on two states.
Okay, no problem. Oh, then we just disagree. I don't think there's any. Sorry, Tali.
Do you think America is just as evil as Israel? Well, they be wrong, because inaction in America, in a place where you can actually make a difference, is even more evil than that, okay? By participating in electoralism, if you think that you're just feeding into a process that you don't support, then really you're just doing nobody a favor, and honestly, you know, you have literally no footprint, no political footprint on this world whatsoever, all right, if you don't actually do anything with your voting rights, okay? So if you don't advocate voting for Kamala Harris back then, right, because you think that she'll still be genocidal Joe but female, Kamala Harris, like, dude, fuck you, okay?
I just want to complete my point.